Hello again, I'm Dr. Mountain. This year, I'm finding a lot of patients experiencing financial constraints, travel restrictions, time restraints, and they can't seem to get a reprieve from stressful triggers. At my office, sometimes we get to a place where people ask what I do for stress. Now, I was hesitant for some time to make this video because I thought it might seem old-fashioned. But I think now more than ever is a good time to do something that isn't contemporary, the same as everyone else, if we don't want to be stressed like everyone else. Being unconventional could help pry us away from things like the contemporary media, which just seems to have created a business aimed at stressing us out. Sometimes I think it's a good idea just to do something different. My family loves to play board games. I brought a few to show you here. We have a whole bunch downstairs. This is Sushi Go Party. This variant has a whole bunch of different renditions and it keeps it interesting. You can play it multiple different ways. Classic Catan, this is our favorite one. It keeps it interesting. It has a bunch of different ways to play it again. You can play with more people, there's expansions. This one is new to us and it's been fun. This one is my favorite game. This is Carcassonne, and it is so much fun. It's a little bit shorter than Catan, and it's a blast. It's absolutely my favorite game, with the exception of chess. And I've played chess for many, many years. Sometimes we play with a time clock, but sometimes just to not be as stressed, we don't. My Opa made me this. This chessboard's probably more than 30 years old and has a lot of sentimental value. So I'm a huge fan of chess. So don't let chess get stressful. It's a distraction. And here you might be surprised. I do play online chess. I'm reluctant to give people my blessing to play video games, but I do play some online chess. If you are playing in the evening, do wear orange glasses. There are studies to show that it does affect our hormones, our sleep-wake cycle. So that's a way you can keep it more healthy if you're playing chess in the evening, to wear the blue light blocking glasses.
A simple pleasure that I enjoy, especially after a hard day on my feet, is just soaking in a warm basin of water with some soap.
So I find guitar a very relaxing thing to do. You don't have to be a great player. Sometimes I'll just play 2 chords. So if you can learn 2 chords, some great songs are just 2 chords, like Buffalo Springfield, For What It's Worth, it's just E and A. The whole song is just those 2 chords. Sometimes I'll just play any 2 chords in a repeated loop, just create a melodic loop, something like and just keep repeating that and around, and you just can almost get a trance-like effect. You just take your mind away from the stresses of the world and you just focus in on changing the picking pattern. You don't have to use a pick, you can just strum, or you can use your fingers. I have loved Lego as long as I can remember. I've played it since I was a child. And what's so important about Lego now is it's 3 dimensions. So many things are on a 2-dimensional plane on our phones or our tablets. We're swiping one way and we're stuck on that one field. Here it's 3 dimensions, and you can create a little world that's a distraction from the craziness of the rest of the world. And Josh, what do you like about Legos?
I really like making stuff from instructions, like this helicopter.
Jeremy, what do you like?
I like to just free build just build stuff from scratch, like the spaceship.
It's an escape. It's a distraction from the rest of the world, and you can build this little universe of your own out of Legos. It's so much fun.
This is amazing. I could sit here all day.
It is a beautiful spot, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
We found a little stash of spruce cones from a squirrel. He's left them, hasn't buried them or anything yet. You can hear the squirrel complaining. Probably not about this. And these little berries are kinnikinick berries or bearberry. And you can actually, they're quite edible. They're very high in pectin, so they're a little bit mealy kind of a taste. But the grouse will eat them a lot, and you could eat them. And these are rose hips, and they're very high in bioflavonoids and vitamin C, and they're actually edible too. Very seedy again, but it's fun to just find these things, and please don't eat them all in the bush. Let the animals eat them, but if you ever needed to, they're there. It's just a nice to know thing. So these are bunch berries, and a lot of people think red berries are poisonous, and some are, but in a starving situation you could eat these. They're very seedy and kind of mealy because of the pectin fibers again, but they're actually mildly sweet and they don't taste terrible. Good morning. The temperature says 0, but I don't see ice forming on the lake, but it must be really close to that. Kind of a little tired this morning. We heard some deer snorting in the middle of the night in our tent, but it doesn't matter when it's just so beautiful like this. Ah, heat. You sure appreciate when you can turn on an oven, put up the heat in your house. We're gonna make some hot chocolate and some hot cereal.
It's really good. And it fogs up my glasses.
Does it warm up your toes?
Yeah.
Does hot chocolate taste better at home or out in nature?
Probably out here. Well, yes, out here, because when you're cold, then it warms you up.
Motorcycling, such a great escape. Now this is an adventure bike, a mini adventure bike, my favorite class of motorcycle. Now you might think this is a splurge because with the bells and whistles I put on aftermarket, the accessories, this was almost $8,000. But it's not a BMW 1200 GS for $28,000. And I use it for commuting to work in the spring, summer, and fall. It has a tiny little motor, a parallel twin 300. It won't win any races, but it'll more than ample do the speed limit. And it gets about 3.5 liters per 100 kilometer. That's almost 100 miles per gallon. And I have a little top box here. I can put things in. My helmet or supplies. I can take it off if I don't want it. Take it right off. And then there's a backrest on here. Put the passenger pegs down. And my wife and I this summer on a long weekend, we did a road trip. She rode right on the back. We had an inexpensive little vacation with the motorbike. I have some heated grips that I put on here. The hand guards both protect me when I'm trying to keep up to my brother-in-law in dirt. I got a little bit of tiny bit grippier tires. They're kind of a 60% on-road, 40% off-road. And this little bike is actually fairly capable. It's not quite a dirt bike for sure. And I've got pennies, side pennies I can put on the side of it here and turn it into a little bit of a travel bike. And it's just such a great escape. It's an adventure bike. I'd highly recommend it. You can find used adventure bikes and you can go out into the gravel roads. We will just do gravel road adventures right around our house, just exploring the prairie and exploring the foothills. There's an old saying that says, a change is as good as a rest. Of course, that's not always true, but I hope I gave you a few examples that could be a change from what happens in your house. Please subscribe and feel free to share some of your simple pleasures below. Who knows, maybe you could help somebody else.